Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games. I'm Sean.
And I'm Eric.
And today we're going to be reviewing Rebellion, a social deduction game by GothicGamelabs.
Yeah, they're a small little indie publisher from New York, hopefully making further strides into the tabletop industry.
They had a successful Kickstarter with Rebellion, and I believe they want to work on RPGs and other card games. And if Rebellion is anything to go by, they're definitely a company worth keeping an eye on. So we will definitely add
something in the description below to their website or GothicGamelabs.com.
Now, to the game itself, Rebellion. This is a very interesting social deduction game because it's very quick. It's a game for 6 players all the way up to 17 players. And what makes this game very unique is it takes 2 minutes per player. So it's a very, very quick game, especially if you have 6 players. Now, you think 6 by 2 would be 12 minutes long, but it's actually 10 minutes long because not every player gets a go.
It's very quick.
It is very quick. The very gist of the game is that you have 2 factions. You have rebels and you have spies. The winner is the amount of players who are recruited at the end of the game. So when it's your turn, say if I'm starting off as the ringleader, my loyalty is open. I'm the ringleader of the rebellion. Right, lads, I want to recruit as many people as my rebellion as I can. Yeah. If I recruit rebels, it's good news for me. If I recruit spies,
bad news for you.
Bad news for me. And whoever has the most at the end is the winning team.
Yeah, and spies break ties.
Exactly. And this is where you want to play cleverly. So obviously, if you're a spy, you want to be recruited. If you're a rebel, you want to be recruited. But not everyone will be recruited. So in a 6-player game, 5 players will be recruited. In a 17-player game, 12 players will be recruited.
Yeah.
So there'll be people who won't get a chance to play the game. And this is one of the reasons it's so quick. Because on your turn, you will play the power of your occupation card. You will have an event card, which will have some mad, crazy effect. And you pick the next player. And it's up to you to pick the player of your faction. And as soon as you reach the amount of recruited or picked players, the game is over. And whoever has the most, or in the case of spies, a tie, wins. And it's a very simple, straightforward game in that aspect.
Yeah. Simple and straightforward, but like Sean's mentioned, there's 2 aspects that could upscuttle everything. The occupation first. Some have variable player powers like you would see in any other social deduction game like Werewolf. Something small and harmless like the scientist has a look at the top 2 event cards first and chooses from that, or something quite impacting like a general whose vote counts twice.
Well, that's it. Like, I mean, the general especially is a great occupation player power because they'll count twice at the end of the tally. So if you recruit a general and you think they're on their side, they're a great person to recruit. But also, if you are against the general, or you suspect that the general is on against you, you can kill the general, thus depriving the opposing faction of 2 votes at the end of the game. So it's like there's other player powers like the soldier, which outright just kills a person who's not of their faction. You have the drunk, which is fun. The drunk, they just play
the nothing.
The loyalty card is just up, you know. But it's fun in the sense that, like, okay, the drunk's on my side, so I'm just going to recruit the drunk, you know. You have the journalist, which is another very interesting one, because the journalist will just literally expose another player's card. So this is interesting because if I was the journalist and I exposed your card and you're the opposite faction to me, and I say, okay, Eric, yeah, I'm on your side, but I'm not going to pick you. I'm going to pick that person over there. I'm obviously bluffing. And it tells everyone else in subsequent recruitment which way the game is going.
Yeah. And everything then is once again more upscuttled by the events deck. Yep. You know the person's occupation. You may even know their loyalties. But the event card now has taught you to change their loyalty or assassinate someone at the table or do something meaningless and harmless, like change around like something in the event deck or something like that.
Well, that's it. You can reshuffle the event deck. You can kind of kill other players. There's even one called Unwilling Martyr, in which, regardless of whether you're a spy or a rebel, you just kill the ringleader. You know, so there's one rebel down already. Like,
out, yeah.
So it's very fun in that aspect. And the game can also be, you can change up the game. So you can take out certain cards, you can put in certain cards. You won't always have the chance to play with the full 17 players.
Oh no, we couldn't anyway, definitely.
No, the best we managed, I think, was 11, wasn't it?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
So it's very interesting, that aspect as well, because if you have a straightforward game and a large group, it's easier to teach a straightforward game to a large group. And this is definitely a strength of Rebellion.
Yeah. Plus, the quickness lends itself to doing a teaching round, if you will. Like, you just go once round real quick, and you're kind of in the game, as it were.
Well, that's it. It's also, there's no major kind of commitment to the game, because once you're recruited, you have one impact on the game, and that's it. Afterwards, you're at the mercy of other players until the recruitment numbers reached. So if you're playing a 6-player game, as soon as 5 people are recruited, it's game over.
Yeah.
As soon as, even in the largest game, which is 17, as soon as 12 people are recruited, game over.
Yeah.
So the reason I'm bringing this up is one of the times we played this was my birthday, and we had gamers and we had non-gamers there.
Yeah.
And of course, we had to bring the non-gamers in for a game of this. I thought it was a good time to try it out.
Yeah.
And it's a good gateway game because it allowed, because of the fast pace of it.
Yeah.
We had not only one kind of introduction round, we had 2 introduction games. But people who don't do board games or anything like that, they got it and they were able to play it and enjoy it afterwards.
Yeah. And the quickness allows you that if you did sit in the first round, the game isn't for you, you could just sit out then. You already know you don't like the game.
Well, that's it. Like, I mean, when it came to my birthday, we had the 2 introduction games. We had 1 or 2 more games after that. And then I had people going off to, whatever, they got pizza or they got a couple of drinks. So they fell into their own little groups and we played a few more rounds and we enjoyed it and moved on to something else. It's very accommodating that way.
Yeah.
So even if you were at, say, a regular game night, like we would host game nights in our local, and we'd have several games going on at the same time. But if Eric's group finished quickly, and my group was going to be playing another half hour, this is a very easy thing for Eric to pick up and play with, because you could get 2 games in the 20 minutes it takes us to catch up.
Yeah.
You know?
And it is about as difficult as Werewolf would be. So if you are still a hardcore gamer and you didn't really want to play something so simple, you already know what you like as is.
The other interesting thing was when you were playing this with gamers, because we played the 6-player game with people who are all gamers. And it's funny because at the start I think we were too tactical for our own good.
Yeah.
We're so used to in social deduction games and playing cards close to your chest and,
being tight-lipped, lying outright.
hiding your loyalty, because you'll have a nice bit of back and forth. But with this, you literally have one shot.
Yeah.
Once you're recruited, your loyalty, it's not as important anymore. The whole aim of the game for you is to get recruited so you can impact on the game. So when we first played it, we were slow to kind of show our loyalties. But then we found that when we became more forceful, so, like, if you had, as the ringleader, had picked me, this is, well, haha, I'm actually a spy. So, by Eric, I'm going to, who here is an actual spy? I'm going to recruit you, and we're going to kind of try and get the people out of the woodwork.
Yeah, but then you still have the events deck, which can come into play. So, even if your lie was successful and you bamboozled everyone, the event card has suddenly changed your loyalties, and now you're bamboozled.
Well, that's it. You can be too brazen, but especially because it's such a short game, I found that if I was brazen about it, I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more, because that's my shot. Okay, I have my shot. This is my loyalty. I'm going to kill the ringleader, or I'm going to kill or make a serious impact on someone who I know is not of my side or my team.
Yeah.
And hope that the event deck doesn't change it around. But this, again, is where subsequent plays bring up the random number generator. Kind of there's
more plays to this game when you play more games, and then the familiarity with your group of who you're playing with breeds fun, because you kind of know how certain people work. But again, it still could all change on a flip of a coin.
Well, that's it. And plus, after a few games as well, you'll get to know the occupations.
Yeah.
You'll get to know the event decks, so you can have a kind of a seasoned player base within 3 or 4 playthroughs. Well, not seasoned, but approaching it, if you know what I mean.
Easily enough. I find that maybe we couldn't get up to the 17, obviously, but I'd say that maybe the events deck might be too chaotic at that upper echelon, but when it's very low, it doesn't outstay its welcome with the events deck, that randomness.
Yes, well, I mean, the handy thing about this as well is it's very customizable, because there is 27 occupation cards. So it's a 17-player game. So if there's certain occupation cards that are just not your thing, you can toss them out. If there's certain event cards that are not your thing, you can toss them out. Or even if you want an absolutely chaotic game, throw them all in. Now, there is in the instructions 3 or 4 variations of the game that you can play, but it's a game that you can customize very easily because the bones of the structure is very straightforward and very simple. It's a good price as well. It's only $20. You get a lot in for a $20 game.
Yeah, it's basically just over a normal deck of cards, but there is, considering the variability in that $20 with the cards and the occupations and the event cards, that's pretty good. Like that's decent enough.
I think so. I think there is a lot of game here for $20 or €20 or whatever your regional equivalent would be. The other thing is the aesthetics. I actually quite like the aesthetics. It has a very kind of
to me, it has that Cold War vibe to it. All right, the aesthetics kind of. It's almost like faded out pastels.
Yeah, it's like comic books from the 1980s, 1990s type of thing. And I mean, it doesn't specifically mention the Soviet Union, but it's got a backwards R in the rebellion. It's got a big red star. There's a Kalashnikov in the front. I think the general looks like a Russian general.
The occupations is like big mad epaulets, and the hat looks suspiciously similar.
The Russian soldier, I think, has the little red star. So I mean, if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and has a hammer and sickle, it's probably a totalitarian communist duck.
maybe.
Not pointing that.
But the events card could change all of that.
Well, that's it. Yeah. You could turn the duck into a goose.
Yeah, it could.
It's a fun game. I mean, you can play it through 2 or 3 times for people who are just not getting it.
Okay.
For new gamers, but if with hardcore gamers, it's a fun turnover game. It's just it's quick. It's there. It's done. You can bang out a fair few games. You can kind of customize it a nice bit, and I don't know if you're going in a kind of a vibe. If you're playing other games like Coup, if you're having a social deduction night, like this is a lovely kind of alternative.
Yes,
it's not a copy of other kind of social deduction games.
Yeah, exactly, because it's so quick. It has the event cards. That's what makes it different from others. So, like, I think even if you had Werewolf, I still think you could get this and be happy enough.
Yeah.
Especially if you're only getting started into collecting games and you just want something quick to play in a party or something.
Well, I mean, this is definitely, like, we've missed Christmas, but this is definitely be perfect, like a stocking filler for a loved one.
It'll actually fit in the stocking too as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a spy or a rebel, you could actually put it in the stocking along with a couple of stones and other things and dump. Sorry, I'm getting too much into the game. But yeah, that is Rebellion. A very fun, very quick, very different type of social deduction game that's definitely worth checking out. The higher player count is definitely an asset, but even the low player count is also an asset because it allows you to kind of, like, you've one shot.
Yeah, you feel much more impacted, and even if you didn't have an impact that particular game, there's another game just around the corner.
Well, that's it. Like, you could play this 4 or 5 times in a row easily,
Yeah.
So, thanks again to GothicGamelabs for sending this game. It was a lovely, unique, different take on the social deduction game. We very much look forward to seeing more from you. So, have you anything else you want to add, Eric?
No, other than, once again, the link is below in the description box or GothicGamelabs.com.
So, until next time, this is Sean.
Eric.
Thank you very much for watching. As always, if you like these videos, please like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And until next time, good luck.
God bless.
And stay loyal.